Once you get used to having hope, well, you get used to it. Stories without eternal hope aren't worth the time. Here's what I'm afraid is going to happen when I go to watch Star Wars. I'm afraid that I'm going to watch this movie, and in anticipation, the trilogy to come, and that I'm going to be treated to a confirmation of what's been kind of looming in the background but unconfirmed. That is, that history is only a cycle, that morality is a question of balance, and that history has no telos, has no end, has no consummation. You can tell a lot of good stories without that, right? So the original trilogy is absolutely fantastic. And why? Because it's a complete story from beginning to end. You feel the consummation at the end. Nub nub, yaga ba dub dub, woo! And we're done. Except we haven't been done, have we? Things keep repeating themselves. The Knights of the Old Republic and the new Knights of the New, and it's just never going to end. And in fact, it appears, passing on half-passed on spoilers to you, that Han Solo and Leia's and Luke's efforts have all been for pretty much naught. Do I mind tragedy? No, not at all. But I'm very accustomed to hope, because there is a story in my life, and a story that I believe arches over the entire world, that makes all the smaller stories have meaning. I believe that this world and that history has an end, has a goal, has something that it's working toward. So everything fits within that. Even rills that spin off the creek, even the little side stories, even the cycles. This idea that history is a line going somewhere is not obvious. It's not a product of science, by the way. Science, boink, boink. It's a Christian idea. That is a Christian idea. It is the idea of Israel moving through this world. The story of redemption is a line. Everyone else has circle stories, including apparently George Lucas. Now, I don't mind circle stories as long as they're fitting within the line that's moving to the end. If it's just one more wheel in this machine, one more cog, one more grind in this wheel that is inexorably going to crush us underfoot, hide me in some sweet fantasy, please. This is what I don't understand. I mean, I don't expect George Lucas to come up with some magnificent epic of hope in the face of despair, because he doesn't have hope in the face of despair. But don't the people who don't have hope in the face of despair want a fantasy? The idea that somewhere someone is experiencing Ewok exploding Death Star consummation and the fulfillment of all history and of all our efforts and meaning to our lives. I mean, I have that. But if you don't have that, why do you watch movies? To prove that you can be as realistic as everyone else? That you're facing the grind? No, that's not why you go to movies. When you face the grind, you face the grind. You go out there and you face hopelessness with your work and your badassery. Now, if you're going to see stories, you either believe that there are stories that are working towards an ultimate meaning, or you're trying to run away. So, if The Force Awakens is just a confirmation that history is an endless loop, an endless cycle that will trap us all, I'll be mad at it. And for this reason primarily, that it's going to destroy Star Wars for me. Already, the prequels, they do not exist. My children have not been allowed to see them. They do not exist in our story. People are saying The Force Awakens is good. I'm going to go watch it. But will I end up thinking that now the original trilogy, Star Wars, has been ruined for me? Because as it stands, it's a good piece of storytelling. And why is it a good piece of storytelling? Because as a small story, it covers the big story. It reaches an end. It reaches a redemption of history and of all of this terribleness. Turns out all this terribleness was terrible beauty, and it's all been made right. But if it hasn't all been made right, I'm just not interested in that story. Maybe I'm just spoiled. Maybe I've been living for too long having hope. But that's way better than having the proper lens through which to view Star Wars. That's for sure. Cheers, people.